Hi, so it's just a basic putting lesson to go through all the main points that you need to think about when you're putting. I just took part in the world's biggest golf lesson this afternoon, and I know that some people didn't get a chance to see that, and I thought I'd do a basic one just to put on the channel so you can check it. Right, so things to think about. Lack of movement is one of the main things. So you're not wanting to move around. In a full golf swing, you're going back and forward and doing all sorts of movement. Even chipping, you're moving a bit as you go through. Putting, you're completely still apart from your arms and shoulders, which are just rocking back and forward. The main setup points, first of all, before we get onto the swing. So grip. If you look at the back, it's probably the easiest way to say, hands just touching there, and then you flick the index up of the left hand. Bring the right hand down a little bit, and then just lie that on the second finger down. So that's it there, index up, second finger down. And then at the front, it's just thumbs down the middle. So that's a basic reverse overlap putt. There are other putting grip, but there are other grips, but that's the one I kind of start everybody off on, unless they've got seriously wristy problems, and then we would try other things. So that's the grip, really soft as well. So when you're putting, one of the main things you're thinking about in terms of how you judge distance is the speed of your swing. So you're trying to keep your arm just moving at the speed that you would roll something at. So you don't, when you are rolling something, you don't grip it really tightly. Actually, you grip it really soft and you just release it gently. Okay. So back to setup. We've got grip on, we've got hands on softly. And the next thing is to set yourself up like a crane at a building site. So a massive crane with a big tall section and a bit that goes out. And then this is the wire coming down with a big wrecking ball on the end of it. And the only bit that moves is the wrecking ball and the wire. So this is the wrecking ball, this is the wire, and you're the crane. So you're got to get your head completely over the putter. Don't want to see anybody standing back like this. You've got to get over it as though you've just dropped that ball straight out of your eye socket, and that's where you have your head. Reason for this is because you move too much if you don't stand in this position. Most people stand a wee bit too far away, so you get this sort of look. And no matter how hard you try not to move your body in this position, it's really difficult not to start moving your hips back and forward because you're just too far away. If you can get over it, it becomes much easier to just let that putter hang down and go straight back and straight through with no leg movement. If you look at it there, no leg movement on this left side. You get a lot of people turn up for putting lessons and on the course, and I see them and they move with the ball as they go through. So it's that movement. It's too much body movement, and it all stems from standing too far away, chasing the ball through. So it tends to be really inconsistent. This whole method is designed to make you consistent, so that you don't go out and have a wildly different day to the day you had before, because putting with wristy actions and body movement, that's what you get. Sometimes the ball will go in, but generally you're going to be hit and miss the whole time. So what we've got: grip, body position, feet are shoulder width apart, we've got a nice soft grip on, ball position, slightly forward of middle. So if that's the middle point of my feet, I would just position the ball a little bit forward of it. It's not a hard and fast rule, but a little bit forward of middle. And the reason is you want to hit the ball on the up slightly. So you're trying to get the ball to the putter to hit it, and that ball just to start top spinning fairly quickly. Actually, the best you can get, when you look at it in really slow motion, a perfect putt will go forward like that, skid forward a little bit, and then roll. But generally, judging distance with top spin, not skidding, because what you get on a bad putt is that skids backwards. bounces in the air and then eventually starts top spinning. And if you think about how we judge distance, if we're bowling, that ball is top spinning virtually from the minute it leaves my hand. It's not skidding, I'm not skidding it, I'm not spinning it, so it's much easier to judge distance that way, and that's why you try to hit a ball with a little bit of topspin on it. Right, so any other setup things? No, I don't think so, that's probably it. We're on to actual swing now. In terms of the path of the putter, this is always a good thing to do. Trying to keep, I always imagine straight back and straight through. Now there's schools of thought that it actually goes in slightly square and in. Yes, I agree with that, but actually the perception of it is straight back and straight through, and that's what you should be trying to think about. It's the simplest way to putt and the most repeatable way to putt. You notice there is, again, when we're talking about swing, there's no wrist. So I'm not doing that. This, if you imagine like my arms are a triangle, and this is the point where my hands are, I'm not snapping that point off, I'm keeping it sharp all the way through. It's just moving the whole triangle. And I should have said that actually about setup, that's related to setup. You can have your arms however you really want. They just have to stay the same throughout the swing. So there's nothing to say you can't. You get a lot of people desperately trying to have their hands in a completely straight and like a triangle, and that's fine, no problem with that. But I hold it up here, and I'm more comfortable up here. And to do that and be over the ball still, I've got these arms slightly bent, which is fine. There's a lot of tour pros stand like that, but there's equally some that stand like that. So it really doesn't matter as long as you don't. So if I keep this in what's almost a sort of diamond shape, I just keep it constant the whole time. And quite often I have to get people in that diamond shape of arm because, you know, they're desperately trying to keep maybe their arms completely straight and holding the putter up here. You can't get your head over the ball like that. You're too far away, and to do that feels really, really uncomfortable. So all you do to get over the ball is just relax into it. Let your arms splay out a little bit. You go from there to there, and suddenly you're in a better position. So back to stroke, thinking about how we roll, how we judge distance, that for a short swing. And if I'm trying to roll twice the distance, I do that. And if you looked at both of those arm swings in slow motion, you'd see they were very, very similar. One was a bit slower to get to the short distance, and one was faster to get to the long distance. And that's how you judge distance. So when you're looking at a putt, you'll be looking at the hole and trying to imagine, what would I do with this hand? How fast would I be swinging my arm to get it to that hole? And that's how you judge distance. If you're using your wrists, that's an unnatural way. You wouldn't throw like that. You wouldn't throw with your wrist. It's a weird thing to do. You wouldn't do it. You tend to always your arms back and forward and just released. So that's what we're trying to recreate with the putt. Trying to get it set up as I've told you, and then it's straight back, straight through. And if you look at in terms of swing length, this is a good training aid because it shows you roughly how long a putting stroke should be. And you can use this length, I reckon, for 90% of putts, maybe 95% of putts, where all you're doing is either slow or fast for a long, to get it a long way, and slower to get it a short distance. But the stroke is kept within a compact area. You're not suddenly going back here and loads of movement. You're keeping everything, I always like to think, you know, just outside your feet is your kind of guideline that you're not allowed to go out of. But I mean, I'd probably be lying if I said I didn't go past that one, because I do. But I'm trying to definitely never ever go past, just past my right foot. I'm trying to, that would be a long putt, and this would be a short putt. So the swing was maybe a little bit shorter, but it's more the pace of the swing that I'm thinking about. In terms of stroke again, just looking at another thought which I see a lot of is that face of that putter, when it's finished the stroke, should still be looking at the target. It shouldn't be off to the left. And I see a lot of people doing that, and it's part of the thing where they move through. So you'll go like this and see like that. And look, if you look where that putter face is now, it's aiming off towards the left hand side, whereas when I finished the first putt, you can still see the putter face. That's easier said than done. That takes a bit doing, but that's just stopping your body moving. You actually, there's a feeling of when you set up and you finish your stroke, your head's behind where the putter was. You don't follow the putter through with your head. Your head stays back and you putt there. So you leave everything in the middle and the putter just goes through towards the target. And that is basically it, I think. If we're not getting into too much detail about all the intricacies of it, that covers your basic setup and basic thought process when you're actually trying to think about your stroke. So that'll keep you going, and I'm sure I'll be doing other videos on putting in the future. Okay, thanks.